Hey y'all, welcome to the 26th episode of the Yarn This podcast. I'm Shama, Jessie's Girl 84 on Ravelry and Instagram. You can find my Yarn This groups on Ravelry and Facebook. If this is your first time watching, thanks for giving me a shot. If you're one of my returning yarnies, thanks so much for coming back. Today is Saturday, June the 3rd, 2017. It's been a little over a month, unfortunately, since I last recorded, but a lot has been going on. I've had a dog that I took care of for a few weeks that I'll talk about and show you a couple of pictures of her, which was quite an experience, but that's at the end of the podcast. Excuse me, I'm having some sinus and allergy problems right now, so I'm drinking some sinus soother tea, and so I'll be drinking some throughout the episode to hopefully kind of keep down on this, and I'll try not to clear my throat any more than I have to. I also had to frog two my big projects that I was working on, and I wanted to finish up or have something going, and I'm also trying to enter something into a knit-along every month this year, so I had to hurry up and come up with something. It's just my own personal goal because you don't even have to enter something every month, but I have a goal of doing it. So anyway, I'm going to talk about all that this episode, as well as some things that we've got coming up, Mother's Day, and just some little bits about my life. So let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about the projects I had to frog. I don't usually frog projects unless there's just a real problem or I really hate it. Anyway, I didn't really hate either one of these. As a matter of fact, I will go back later and knit them. I just had a couple of issues that I just couldn't overcome at that moment in time, so I just had to do something else. The first one was the Dobby's Hidden Socks. I'll show you what they're supposed to look like. I was knitting them. It's a pattern by Amy Meeks of the Periscoping Sisters. I was knitting them on Gnome Acres and the House Gnome, on the House Gnome base and her Tonks colorway, and the contrasting toe, heel, and cuff are out of Lorna's Lace's Soulmate and the Bigger on the Inside colorway. This is a 60 stitch sock. That's how Amy usually writes hers. So I usually go up to a size 2 needle. I can't think what that is in millimeters, and I usually write it down. Anyway, it is top down, and I did the ribbing, and I did the whole leg, and I got to the heel and actually turned the heel and decided that I better check it out. This is what they're supposed to look like. Really pretty socks. It's a fun, simple pattern, but I kept thinking it didn't look quite right. So when I got to that point, I decided to try it on. I couldn't even get it up over my foot, much less over my heel. So I think what I'll have to do the next time, I think it's in 4-stitch increments. I'll probably have to add 8 stitches to it. I will come back to those because I did enjoy it the first time, and I'll love it the second time just as much. I might even try to get a Dobby colorway to knit them in. The other thing that I frogged, which has been on the needles since I think January 1st, was the 100 Acre Wood Shawl by Helen Stewart. I was using Yarn at Home Mom's basic fingering in the Jessie's Girl colorway. Y'all probably remember when I got that last year. Jessie's Girl, my favorite song of all time. Rick Springfield, my favorite singer of all time. And I wanted to find just the perfect shawl. Well, the 100 Acre Wood is beautiful. I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. By the way, that's knit on size 6 needles. Good grief. Anyway, at some point, pretty early on, apparently, my yarn had gotten, I don't know, out of whack, and I pulled it up, and I thought I did it right. Instead, I pulled it around the project and didn't even notice it till I was many, many rows past. And so I decided that I was just going to frog it. It's really, really pretty. Frog it, and I'm going to try that one again later as well. It's got some really pretty features on it, like I love this little eyelet feature right in here. But anyway, I'll find another colorway, maybe Winnie the Pooh, and come back and knit that later. And if not Winnie the Pooh, I'll find something beautiful to knit that out of. So, I had to turn around and do some other things, but I won't talk about those until I get to my finished objects. I did cast on, however, 2 other projects using those exact same yarns that I frogged. The first thing that I cast on was the Diagon Alley socks by Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expat, in No Maker's House Gnome in the Tonks colorway, with a contrast of the Lorna's Laces Soulmate and the bigger on the inside, just like the other socks. These are 66 stitches, and they're on 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. So this is what I've done so far. It's a fun little project. It's a 12 row repeat, and within that 12 rows, you've got 4 rows of each little pattern, and then you start over again. So I think I'm in the 3rd one now. I'm not sure about that. So I think the bigger on the inside, even though there's not a blue in there, I think it goes really, really well with it. And I'm excited, really excited about these socks. I'm enjoying this yarn so much. Ooh, I don't know if y'all heard that. It's thunder. We've been having a good bit of rain lately, and I love it. Rainy weather's my favorite, but the only way it's better to me is if it gets cold too. I love cold weather. Now we're coming into the time of year that I like to hibernate because I hate heat and I hate summer. Okay, sorry, got off track there. So the other thing that I cast on is a Mother's Heart shawl by Debbie Reese. She's the other sister in the Periscoping Sisters. Oh, sorry, y'all. Hang on, I'm hung up. My yarn's hung up here on my stitch marker, my row counter. This is a Mother's Heart shawl, like I just said, by Debbie Reese. It's out of the Yarn at Home Mom's Basic Fingering in the Jessie's Girl colorway on size 6, 4 millimeter needles. Now, this was a mystery knit along for Mother's Day. And I'm on Clue 1. I'm just about through with Clue 1. I think I have 2 12-row repeats to do, and I'll be done with it. And I'm loving it. Look at that. Oof. I'm not a lace girl. I think I've said that before, but just doing yarn overs, I think it's a beautiful effect, and I don't mind that at all. But here it is. Here's the top. And it's going to have, when I get to the end of this, it's supposed to have 60 eyelets. So this, from here to here, was 40 eyelets. I just put that there so I could know where I was. Anyway, I'm really, really enjoying this. And here's the ball of yarn. I actually have 2 cakes. And this is supposed to be a 1 skein shawl, but in Clue 3, you can add some rows to use it like more. So I'm going to do that. I want this to be bigger, and I want to be able to get way into my 2nd skein before I end this shawl. So really, I don't think it's going to take me all that long. Now, I'm saying that. I don't think it's going to take me all that long to finish this shawl. And my goal is to finish these socks this month, because I'm in the inside number 23 Harry Potter year-long knit-along. You can only enter 1 project a month, and it has to be at least 50 grams. We've talked about this before, because she doesn't want people doing like a dishcloth, a Harry Potter dishcloth, and then doing like 500 of them, and somebody else doing like a sweater, a Weasley sweater, and them not have nearly as much opportunity to win as everybody else. Well, since I had to frog my Dobby's Hidden Socks, I decided that I was going to do another little project, and it's from the Pookie pattern by Barbara Prime. Okay, let me pull the the first Pookie I did was actually from her pattern. I have a little friend, Emmett. He just turned 2, and his 2nd birthday was the what was it? Private Life of Pets. I can't remember the name of that movie. That was his theme for his birthday. So I knitted him this little dog out of the Pookie pattern. Really fun little pattern. Cute. And I really enjoyed knitting it. The first time I knit it, she says at the very top, right at the bottom of the first round of instructions about the whole pattern, like telling you what size needle and yarn and all that stuff that you need, she says this is knit in the round. But the way she words it in the pattern, I didn't get that. So I had knit all this stuff flat, and I thought, this just doesn't look right. And then I went back and I saw that, and I felt like such a doofus. I had already knit the hat and ears. Anyway, so it took way longer than it should have, because it shouldn't take very long at all. And anyway, so that was my first Pookie. Well, when I had to frog the socks, and it was almost the end of the month, I decided that I wanted to do something else to enter, but using the Pookie pattern, because it's cute, it's quick, and I wanted these to put up in my craft room or somewhere. I think they're going to go in my craft room for now. I decided to do Harry, Ron, and Hermione as Pookies. So the first one I did was Harry. Now, I do their hair, and I'm not great at hair. So I'll kind of talk to y'all a little bit about the hair as I show them to you. Anyway, here's Harry, his glasses and his scar, and his mop of black hair. It's not great. I do enjoy putting on hair, but I'm just not very good at it. But I remember that in the first book, they would take him and get his mop of hair cut, and then by the next day it'd be grown back out again. So I wasn't too disturbed that his hair was kind of a mess. So anyway, here's Harry. The second one I did was Ron. Ron's hair is a tiny bit shorter, but maybe I made it just a little too short. But anyway, I'm not disappointed in him. And there's this picture of him, I'm sure you've all seen it, where he's kind of going, but his mouth kind of goes down on one side. So I decided to make this my Ron, with his bright hair, which is a little more orange than it's showing up, and his little downturned mouth and his green eyes. I checked, and he has green eyes. Okay, it looked like my phone had quit recording. So Harry's got his green eyes, and Ron has his blue eyes, and the last one I did was Hermione. Now, also remember, they said Hermione's hair was kind of messy and frizzy. So I'll talk to you about her hair in a minute, but here she is with her brown eyes and her sweet little smile. But her hair was a kind of a lightish brown, so I did kind of a mushroom, I think is what it's called, color, as well as this brown color. And I've looked online about how to curl hair, because she had kind of wavy, curly, frizzy-ish hair. And I learned some lessons. So what I did was I took the yarn and I wrapped it around a small knitting needle. And I was going to clip it, but it took quite a while to do one. So what I did was I just used Scotch tape, and I taped it to the needle. And then I did a whole bunch of strands. They were already cut, and I did a bunch of them all the way down the length of the needle, and I did 2 needles full. And then what you do, since it's acrylic, I just went over to it with the iron and held the iron over it. Don't touch it, because it'll melt and it'll get on your iron. And just steam. I steamed it, and then I turned it and I steamed it. And but it got damp when I did that. Sorry, my eye's itching. So then I just took my blow dryer and I blow dried it with hot air, and I think that helped too. So this, like this hair right here, this brown, you can see how curly it is. It all looked that good, but the thing that I did that was wrong was I took the lighter colors off, and I kind of pulled them out a little bit. You need to leave them not very long, just like long enough to get them all off and let them cool down just for a few minutes. And then you can even tug them, and they stay pretty well. It's not perfect, but neither was Hermione's hair. So you've got Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Those are 3 of the 4 Pookies that I knit since I last recorded. And I actually knit these 3 just in the last week. The other thing was something I had cast on before my last episode, and it was actually a work in progress, and I went back and finished it. And it is Wasabi by Susan Claudino. This is knit out of Kim Marie's Knit Knacks fingering, and I'll Be True to You. I think it's her Brazos base. I knit these on size 0 2mm needles. So here's Wasabi. I thought he turned out pretty cute. I really, really like him. Kind of feel like he might need a mouth or something to smile. He's really cute. Although, the way the color hits right there, it looks like he's got a little bit of a smile. Anyway, this was fun to knit. This was my second Wasabi. I had knit one for my nephew for Christmas. Not this past one, but a year before. But I did it out of fingering. And out of worsted. And this one's out of fingering. And it does seem to take quite a bit longer when you're doing the fingering. But I really like it. And the other thing that I finished, and it's really just, it's super simple. My younger son came down and he showed me this picture of a thing called a jumping kiwi. Now I'm going to look what it says here. It is from a game called Jumping Flash for the PlayStation in 1995. Anyway, it's a little kiwi, and what I did was I found the Simple Ball pattern by Alexis Hammond Nazaroff, and I used Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn in green and knitted on size 6 needles. His little legs kind of wonky. Anyway, he has legs, kind of longish legs like kiwis do. And I used pipe cleaners. I think he must have him sitting on a shelf. And then I cut this piece of felt out to represent his beak, and it was just the way the picture looked. And then he has his little tiny beady eyes. Now, I showed y'all a while back. I didn't get these, sorry. My eyes that I got off of eBay got brown and blue and green, like you saw with Harry and Ron and Hermione. I've got black that have kind of an edging on them, kind of almost a gray clear edging. And then there are also these that have like a gold. Anyway, but then at the bottom, they're all just solid black with no kind of edging. I've got big ones down to little bitty ones. And these are the ones I used for the kiwi. Anyway, I like my little box of eyes. However, I was watching Yarn Hoarder, and she gets hers from an Etsy shop, and she has all sizes and noses and mouths and everything. And that way you always have what you need. I'm going to have these for a while. I'm not going to need to buy anything for quite a while. But if I do, I might start getting them from the Etsy shop that she got hers from, and I can't remember, y'all. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. One other thing I finished. And I'm really sorry because they're all stretched out because it was weeks and weeks ago and I couldn't wait to wear them. My Speckled Dragon Egg socks by Amy Meeks. And Amy is the same one who designed the Dobby's Hidden Socks. Same number of stitches, 60. And these fit me fine. I think it has to do with the pattern. I think there was a slip stitch. But I'm not really sure what the problem was, but I am going to redo them. Anyway, these are the Speckled Dragon Egg Socks by Amy Meeks. I did it out of Lolo Did It Sparkle Sock in the Scrunchies and Spandex colorway. You really can't see a lot of sparkle here, but that's okay. The color is amazing. And then my toes, heels, and cuffs were done out of Kim Marie's Knit Knacks in the hot pink and turquoise colors. I love these socks. I have worn them and worn them. They were supposed to be my Easter socks, but as is my tradition, I didn't finish on time. But that's okay. I've been wearing them ever since because really the 80s are always in fashion and they're always in season. So that's all for my finished objects. But I feel like I got quite a bit done considering I had to frog my 2 big projects. They're just not real big projects. But anyway, I'll take it. Coming up, besides the socks and the shawl that I'm working on, I need to get 2 more things knit for Kim for the Houston Fiber Festival. I'm going to knit Belfry by Susan Claudino. Let me do it this way. Belfry. I'm sorry, I have several tabs pulled up here. Belfry, I've shown you before, he's a bat, and she did Belfry and Booyah together. And I've already knit Booyah for myself. I'm going to knit Belfry for Kim out of, did I say which one? Nope, I didn't say which yarn. There, that's Belfry and Booyah. Oops, sorry. There you go. Like I said, I've already knit Booyah, and I'm going to knit Belfry for Kim. And I know I've told y'all this before. They get to live with me until we have shows, so I'm really, really excited about that. And also one that I've been wanting to knit forever and ever is Dandy Dorcephilopod. That's so funny. She was having problems saying this on Yarn Hoarder yesterday. Dandy Dorcephilopod. He's, as you can imagine, a little octopus. Oh my goodness, he's adorable. What? Sorry, y'all. There he is. I need to find a mustache button for his mustache. I cannot wait to knit him up. He is so, so cute. And then the other project that I've got to get knit up really, really soon is a hooded blanket for my niece. Her 4th birthday is going to be July 7th, and she wants an owl blanket. So I bought this Benton hooded blanket pattern by Heidi May. Y'all, I'm so sorry. Anyway, I think I'm going to do at least the medium or large size for her, even though she's a little girl. I want this to last her for a really long time. I might even do extra large and she just snuggle up with it. But in case she wants to walk around with it, I don't know. I may go as big as the large size, and she's going to love it. She's going to absolutely love it, and I can't wait to do it. It's not going to take long. You do it on, I believe, on size 19 needles. The only thing is, the only size 19s I have are straights, and I just don't knit on straights anymore at all. I'm kind of thinking I might have to order some size 19 tips from Knit Picks. But anyway, I've got to get that done fairly quickly, but I doubt it'll take me more than a week, if that, to do it. And I'm going to put an owl's eyes and beak up there, but I might use the pom-poms like they have up there instead of doing owl ears. So anyway, I'm really excited about all the stuff I have coming up, as well as the things that I have on the needles. It's been a lot of fun, all the stuff I've been working on. Okay, well, we've got the Houston Fiber Festival coming up here on June 23rd through the 25th. That's at the Berry Center, Berry, in Cypress, which is here. It's in Houston, but it's just right down the road. Actually, I'm in the Cy-Fair School District, so it's not very far from me at all. The only sad thing about it is that Savvy Skeins, Allie and Madeline won't get to be there this year. So we're going to miss them a lot. It would be fun if they could pop in, but it's kind of a drive for them to come in for that. Anyway, that's coming up in about 3 weeks now. And this year they've added Sunday to that. So we're going to have a lot of fun and 3 full days of Fiber and Friends. And it's going to be awesome. And we get to stay at home. Even better. It's a much longer drive for Kim, though. It's probably about at least another 30 or 40 minutes for her to get over to my house before we go out there, which is probably another 15 or 20 minutes from here. So anyway, but it's still nice to be able to go home and sleep in your own bed at night. Really, all I have left now to talk about are Mother's Day and this one thing that I bought. Some stuff that we've been kind of watching and exciting movies. And a little bit about things that have been going on in our lives. I'm going to pause y'all for just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. The first thing I'm going to talk about is a couple of small things that I've gotten for myself since I last recorded. The first thing was a crochet book. I know, crochet. It's called Literary Yarns Crochet Projects Inspired by Classic Books by Cindy Wang. And here's the cover. I saw it on the day of our last knit night, the one in May, and we meet at Barnes & Noble, so I checked online and it was there, and I had them hold it for me, so I went and got it. She's very good at instructions at the beginning about how to join things and how to add the hair. She's even got a basic body pattern, so you use that throughout the book. But then she shows you how to do, like, for example, I'm not going to let you see, but like long hair and combed back hair right here and side swept bangs. So she's got some really, really helpful things. Anyway, I just thought I'd show you some of the characters. Lizzie Bennett, for crying out loud. I love Pride and Prejudice. Oh yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time. I'm definitely going to crochet these. Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion, as well as Toto. Look, in his little basket. How cute are they? Oh my goodness. Love The Wizard of Oz. Let's see. And again, like I said, she's got some really good details, really good instructions on how to do the smaller things. The White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. It's hard for me to see when I show y'all pictures over books. Ebenezer Scrooge. I think of him more as in brown, but my friend said he was like the ghost. One of the ghosts. But anyway, he's really cute no matter what. Let's see. Oh, Jay Gatsby and Daisy Buchanan. From The Great Gatsby, of course. Can you see him? And that's got the combed back hair and the side swept bangs there. So that'll be fun. Hester Prynne. Let's see, there she is. From The Scarlet Letter. Got the A on there. Oh, yeah. The Hunchback, Quasimodo, and Esmeralda. That one's really good. I love that. I don't know that I'll make it, but I just think the design is great. One of my least favorite movies of all times, because I am not a fan of like sea and ocean. Never seen Jaws, never seen any of the Jaws movies. I don't do those kinds of movies. I don't know why. It freaks me out a lot. But I watched this with my husband when we were dating, and it's Moby Dick. There's Captain Ahab and Moby Dick. Ugh. It's okay. I don't even like knitting like octopuses and things like that. But the ones I've knit are really cute. Oh, yes. Anne Shirley. I must do Anne Shirley. How adorable. From Anne of Green Gables, in case you didn't know. And it said right there, didn't it? Sorry. And Napoleon from 1984. I like him. Let's see. Okay. Prince Hamlet. Julius Caesar. With a knife in him and or sword in him and everything. Two of them. Oh. And Frankenstein's monster. That one's really cute. That might be the end. Nope. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Ugh. That's cool but creepy. She did a really good job with those. Apparently, she lives right here in Houston because I went to her blog. And, yeah, she lives right here in Houston. So it would be cool if she showed up at the Houston Fiber Fest. And the other thing I bought myself cost a whole $1. But we were at Family Dollar on the way to my nephew's birthday party because I needed to get a gift bag and some tissue paper. And they always have the best cards, birthday cards and stuff. So while I was in there, I found some pens that I thought might just be junk, but they were $1, and they were cool, real colorful, and they've worked out really well. But I also found these little notebooks. This one is Live, Laugh, Love, and it's just basic, little lined notebook. But what I've done is, when I have patterns that are very short, like a 4-row repeat or something, I like to write them down and have them with me in case they're on my phone or something and I don't want to use the battery on my phone. So I'm not going to show you because this is a paid for pattern. But I have the whole pattern written out there for the Diagon Alley socks. So all I have to do is just pop this out. I keep it in my little bag. Oh yeah, I did get this. I forgot to show y'all. I told you it was coming last time, but it hadn't gotten here. Oops. If I can't take my yarn, I'm not going. And I really feel that way. Here are those pens I told y'all I got. They're gel pens. And they're really, really good. Oh, this even has, look y'all, even has a nice pocket on the outside. So it's great. I can put things down in there like the pens, the notebook. I can put like my smaller tablet. I really, really like that bag. Okay, so now on to Mother's Day. Mother's Day was really nice, really exciting. It was a quiet day. It's never something big because Sunday afternoons, my Mother's Day gift is to let me nap after church. So, my older son gave me my gift early. On Friday, I believe, before Mother's Day, he and his friend went to the Comic Palooza here in Houston. And Logan's friend, Justin, has a brother, Ryan, who is an artist. Well, actually, both of his brothers are. But Ryan does my kind of art. So Logan got a print for me that he had done. Oh, wow. I was so excited. Let me turn off this light here. There's not so much of a glare. Rocket and Groot. Oh my goodness, y'all. And this is by Ryan Shaw. He has a website. I'll try to get that and put it in the show notes for y'all. The show notes. That's a joke, isn't it? I never do show notes, but I need to because y'all need to find him. He does commission work. He teaches art classes in person and online to kids. And I even bought his 2 books for kids and gave them to my younger nephew for his birthday. And I think he was pretty excited about it because he loves to draw, and I thought they would be really good for him. The other gift that Logan got for me was by my friend Diane Prokop. As an author, she is Dee Marie Prokop. And this is the first book in her trilogy, The Red String. Kim and I took these with us when we went to Yellow Rose Fiber Festival, and put some, Kim had dyed up some yarn and we made up some mini skeins. This is from her Days of the Guardian trilogy, and there's the cool little bookmark that came with it. The trilogy is The Red String, The Red Cloak, and The Red Knot. And I showed y'all the stitch markers last time. And so anyway, I have a physical copy of the book now. And she autographed it for me. Isn't that awesome? She signed the book for me. So those were the gifts from Logan for Mother's Day. Now, Kelby's gift came in a little late, and he said he was embarrassed by it because he said he didn't spend very much, but I love it. It's a unicorn nightlight, y'all. Let me turn it on. You can't really tell, but it is a neat little nightlight, and it's a unicorn. It is completely adorable, and I love it. Love it. My husband got us tickets to see John Mellencamp June 22nd, this month. So that's coming up in less than 3 weeks from now. I've never seen him in concert, and I hear he's great, so I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. The last thing that I got that was a gift again from Kelby, my younger son, he went to GameStop the other day and got himself a couple of games, and he saw something he thought I needed to have, so he brought it home to me. Are y'all ready? Mantis. Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Have y'all seen it? Oh my goodness. It's amazing. I loved it. I'm ready to see it again. I loved Mantis. Of course I loved Groot. I love Star-Lord. I love Drax. It was an amazing movie. And she lives right here on my shelf. Yay! Anyway, I'm very excited about her and excited about the movie. The other movie that I'm very excited about that came out a couple of days ago, but we haven't been yet, is Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. You know, y'all have seen my Wonder Woman bag. I have it right over here. And I've been a fan of Wonder Woman since I was a kid. So I'm really, really excited about this movie. My older son did see it the other night and said it was one of the best movies he's ever seen. And he is a movie critic, so that's saying a lot. I'm really excited. The other things that I've watched since I last talked to y'all, Monk, one of my all-time favorite shows, debuted on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, one of my channels that I watch all the time. And they did an all-day marathon one Saturday, and then they showed the whole series in like a few weeks, just slightly over a month. It was like 3 or 4 episodes a day. And I watched every single one. And there were, one time we had a storm and I lost an episode or 2 then. And then I didn't set it to record more than 5 episodes, so I didn't get all those. I'm going back now and I'm trying to catch those up. Oh my goodness, I forgot what a great series it was and how much I love Monk. He's such a great guy. Anyway, I found out that one of my other favorite shows that was also on at the same time, which was Psych, is going to have a movie in December. Oh my goodness. So I have almost the whole series now on DVD, and I plan to do that this summer. I'm going to watch all of Psych, and whatever I don't have, I'm going to get and finish watching it up before the movie comes out in December. I'm super excited about that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes. Good grief. A while back, my mom and dad went to visit my uncle and his family. And several years ago, well, no, let me go back. When I was a kid, my grandmama crocheted some. And one year, she decided to crochet Mom, me, and Aunt Sally coats. My mom's not very sentimental, so I don't have mine anymore, which makes me really sad. It was a pretty little granny square, and the yarn, I believe, was blue and white, and it was acrylic. But it's okay, my grandmama made it. But my Aunt Sally is more sentimental, and she hung on to hers, and she decided to give it to me. Just, I can't even express. So here it is. And again, like I said, it's acrylic. I probably should have taken a picture of it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wash it and dry it, and it should soften up quite a bit. But it's a long coat. Really, really long. And it's got the buttons that I'm sure Grandmama put on it. It's got a little pell and the collar and everything. I think she did an amazing job. My grandmama was a hard worker. And so she spent a lot of her time cooking and cleaning house and working out in the yard and gardening and studying her Bible. And so this was just her downtime. And that means so much. I have a nail put up over there and have it hanging on the wall in here in my craft room. So thank you, Aunt Sally. It means more than you can possibly ever know. Okay, in the last couple of minutes here, I'm going to talk about just a few things that are going on, coming up in our lives. One thing is Gus, baby Gus. I've talked to you about him. Annette 70, what? 79, I believe. Y'all, I feel so terrible. Anyway, her grandson that's had the cancer, he just turned 10 months old on June 1st. And he's been sick his whole life. His whole life he's been sick now nearly. And they did the bone marrow transplant. I'm sorry, I'm looking up her name, her Ravelry name. They did the bone marrow transplant, and he had to stay in the hospital not nearly as long as I thought. I thought he'd be in like an isolation room. They did say his parents could be in there, but then they started saying his grandparents could be in there too. He got to come home. But he has to go in at first 3 days a week, and then twice a week now. And they said it looks like he's making his own bone marrow now. The cancer, I think, is gone. So it's all looking really good. He was like day 48. I guess today would be day 50. And at day 100, if things are going well, they take out his port. Now, they said his doctor is very cautious, so it might be more than 100 days. But, it's better to be cautious than to yank that out and then have to go back and do it again. But Gus is doing really, really well. However, on a much more sad note, Kim's father-in-law, Kim Marie 73, they found out that he had prostate cancer right after his wife died a few months ago. And he was doing really well. He was doing his treatments. He had just retired. Sorry. And then he got... what was wrong with him? He was septic, and he had pneumonia. That's what it was. And they put him in the hospital, and they were treating him, and then all of a sudden, he just decided he couldn't deal with anything anymore, and he was gone. His funeral was last weekend. So my heart and prayers go out to Kim and her family at this time, but because they had just lost her mother-in-law less than a year ago. So it's been tough. And in the midst of all this, her sister-in-law's daughter is getting married, and they live in Missouri. So it's been quite a challenge, as well as being just sad. And at 79, sorry about that. Anyway, so good news and sad news, but everyone's doing well, and we're all fortunate to have each other, aren't we? The last couple things is that just 3 days from now is the 2-year anniversary of the wreck. And if you've been a long-time viewer, you know what I'm talking about, the wreck that nearly killed my mom and the start of my son's seizures. My mom has recently gotten a new prosthetic leg from a new prosthetist. He said the stuff that was being given to her, the legs that were being made for her before, were technology from the 80s. And they were terrible. They were giving her such a hard time and caused blisters and bleeding and stuff on her stump. This leg is so much better. And she's walking now, not just at the fitness center where they work out, but also up and down her driveway and up and down her street a bunch of times every day. So that's great progress. From the day of the wreck, when they told us she wasn't going to make it out of surgery, to now, it's been 2 years. It's been 2 long years. And she continues to do things, and hopefully things will continue to improve and get even better. So that's been wonderful. And 2 days after that is going to be my parents' 55th wedding anniversary. Can y'all believe 55 years? They're an amazing couple. And boy, have they shown us what it's like to be together through sickness and health. And everything else, rich or poor, good times and bad. They've stuck it all out. Anyway, I really think that was all that I had to talk to y'all about this time. Hopefully next time I'll have a lot more to talk about. I might not record again until after the Houston Fiber Festival. But there's one little thing that might be coming up in my life. And I don't want to say anything yet. But if it happens, I'll probably record just a little brief thing to update y'all on what's going on. If it works out, it's going to mean that I'm going to have a lot more things to show y'all on the podcast. So, fingers crossed. Y'all keep knitting, enjoying what you're doing. And until next time, knit on.